Hey guys, it's Masatonic. I'm bilingual harukist. 皆さん、こんにちは。バイリンガルハルキストのマサトニックです。Haruki Murakami Book Guide Short Story 31 Tony Takitani. So in this video, I'd like to talk about this very interesting story, Tony Takitani. Actually, maybe this is one of my favorite of Murakami's short story. It's really nice one. I really like it. So let's take a look at it. Let's get started. As always, this video is consists of three parts. First overview, two, a second story, and third deep reading or reading tips from me. So first overview. This one firstly appeared in the New Yorker in 2002 April, and after that contained in Blind Willow's Sleeping Woman. It's a collection of short stories 2007 July, and in Japan also it's contained in the another collection of short story, The Ghost Black Syndrome. Unfortunately, this is not published as a short story in the English market. So, and one thing in particular is this short story is made into movie in 2005, and this movie is also really nice. It's a kind of masterpiece of a movie, I guess. It's a really nice one. So in later in this video, I'll also mention about it. And one kind of interesting trivia about this one is keyword is t-shirts. Actually, the Murakami also mentioned about this in his essay. The why he made this story is the answer is t-shirts. When Murakami visited Hawaii, actually Maui Island, he visited some kind of old clothes store, and he found some t-shirts, and then in front of the t-shirts it displayed Tony Takitani. Actually, I can show you. This is it. Can you see Tony Takitani? This one is an interesting essay of a t-shirt. It's called Murakami T. So Murakami's t-shirts. It's only, I think it's only available in Japan, unfortunately, but it's really interesting essay. And in this essay, he mentioned about this is the origin of Tony Takitani. When he found it and he bought this t-shirt just $1, and then after that, he think about what kind of story could he make from the name of Tony Takitani, and then he make this story. So, and then after that, like I said, this is made into movie. So Murakami thinks his $1 investment is one of the best investment which Murakami used to did in his life. It's really funny, isn't it? So, but this is a kind of trivia, but still, it's really interesting one. To me, I also mentioned later, but it's kind of I reminded of Scott Fitzgerald short story from this by reading this novel of Murakami. Murakami himself is really like Fitzgerald novel, especially The Great Gatsby. As he mentioned, The Gatsby is one of his best novels in all time. And then also Murakami translate from English to Japanese a lot of Fitzgerald novel, but still Murakami himself said Fitzgerald's works is masterpiece, but he as a writer, he not directly influenced by the writing style of Fitzgerald, but otherwise much more, say, a attitude towards novel and life is he inspired from Fitzgerald. That Murakami's opinion, and obviously the writing style or writing theme or how to say the stage or it's totally there's a huge gap between Murakami's work and Fitzgerald's work, but still, at least this short story, Tony Takitani, little bit remembered Fitzgerald's kind of storytelling and also style. I can feel it from it. So, what kind of story? Let's take a look at it. Story. Obviously, Tony Takitani's protagonist is Tony Takitani himself, but this story begins with Tony Tony Takitani's father's story. His name is Shosaburo Takitani, and the stage is before or during the World War II. And Shosaburo Takitani is a jazz musician in Japan, and his life itself is in the beginning of Tony Takitani. Shosaburo Takitani's story is shortly described, but this his father's episode itself is really interesting. To be honest, I'd like to read his story much more in full version. It's really interesting. And in Japan, he had enjoyed a life as a jazz musician and play around with so many women. And one day he had a problem with some featured or involving some woman, and he simply he couldn't stay in Japan. What kind of problem he happened? I didn't know, but he couldn't stay in Japan, so he escaped from Japan and went to Shanghai. So Shanghai, it's like I said, it's a stage just before the World War started. Maybe at that time, the Japan and China had a very tense situation. Maybe somewhere in inland China, some war or at least a battle or incident had happened between Chinese army and also Japanese Imperial Army. But still, Shosaburo Takitani visited Shanghai as a kind of a freelance jazz musician. And then one thing I'd like to point out here is the thing when Shosaburo Takitani firstly visited Shanghai, it really reminded me Fitzgerald's story. In Fitzgerald's essay, there's some essay which is called My Lost City. It's an essay of Fitzgerald, the kind of biography of himself, self-biography. It's kind of a very short one, not a long one, but as a boy, Fitzgerald, when he firstly facing in the New York or the Manhattan Island from New Jersey and crossing the Hudson River, Fitzgerald really shocked and kind of mesmerized by such a skyscraper and a really huge city. To him, it's kind of metaphor of dream and yes, something. And that thing also featured in The Great Gatsby, I think. In that case, it's the opposite side of the Manhattan, from Long Island to so maybe it's a Queens, yeah, maybe from Queens to take a crossing Queensboro Bridge and to Manhattan. And the narrator, Nick, thinks some emotion during that time. It's kind of very similar to here. Shosaburo Takitani's feel some emotion towards Shanghai city skyscraper, and also in this case Yangtze River. From Yangtze River, he looked at the skyscraper of Shanghai and kind of Shosaburo Takitani really like it. That scene is really at least to me, same emotion, same. It really looks like that was thing. Also, and not just that scene. There, how to say, storytelling style is kind of very similar. In this case, Haruki Murakami, the Tony Takitani, and Fitzgerald short story writing. At least I feel it. And okay, and after that. Even such a very tense situation in Shanghai, Shosaburo Takitani had a kind of luck and also talent to live freely. So, and then he had a very enjoyable life even during the World War II. But after that, because due to his connection with some kind of how to say, some people in China. He got imprisonment. He was in jail after war and kind of very close to death. And just right before his death sentence, he can escape from the jail. And then the escape from right in front of death is kind of similar to Dostoevsky's story, but of course the situation is different. But almost gave up his life and then accepted death and then released or escaped is kind of similar. That's interesting to me. And after that, he returned to Japan and and he met with Shozaburo Takitani's the future mother, and then they fell in love and married and giving birth to Tony Takitani. But after birth of Tony Takitani, his mother shortly died, and Shozaburo Takitani is that kind of a person. So he didn't know how to raise kids, or at least simply he just forget about him. And then at that time, after war Japan, the American army was there. So Shozaburo Takitani organizing a band and play jazz music at such an army base. And then he had acquaintance with the major, some major at the U.S. base. And then there one the major told the Tony Takitani, you should have raised your kids deliberately. So I will be your godfather of him. And then he think about the name of Shozaburo Takitani's son. That name is Tony. It's a kind of a same name of that major. And then Shozaburo Takitani thinks that name is, it's not so bad. At least still some future years, Japan has a huge influence of America. So such a, of course, Tony is not a, how to say, Japanese-like name, much more American name, but such an American-style name, having an American-style name is sometimes could be work in under American influence, he thought. Of course, it's not. It's totally opposite. And as a kid, kind of so Shozaburo Takitani and his wife is 100% Japanese. So as a Japanese kids having a American style name after World War II is of course great difficulty to live. But Shozaburo Takitani didn't think about it, couldn't imagine that kind of things. But anyway, he got the name of Tony Takitani. And after that, half life of Tony Takitani has described it. It's also kind of interesting. But as a lonely boy, he grew up and he ended up becoming illustrator. And after becoming a professional illustrator, he had met with some woman, and he also got married, and after that, blah blah blah. This is almost just the beginning of this Tony Takitani story, and actually the real contents of the Tony Takitani is had begun after his Tony Takitani's marriage, and his wife's story is much more take a important role in this story, but it's really interesting. So as another my book guide video, I basically mentioned about kind of first story, but this one story itself is interesting and also kind of not so short. So I just mentioned about this, the beginning of the story. And so if you're interested in, please take a look and please read the original text. It's really interesting, I guarantee you. So how should we enjoy it? Deep reading or reading tips from me. Let's jazz. As always, So music is important, and especially in this case, Shozaburo Takitani is a jazz musician. He is a trombone player. So some jazz musician is featured. So Bobby Hackett, Jack Teagarden, Benny Goodman. So Jack Teagarden and Benny Goodman is, I think, featured any other Murakami's novel as well. So, and then Jack Teagarden is maybe the jazz trombonist, I guess, but other musician, Benny Goodman is a なんだっけ、oboe, I guess. Sorry, I don't really remember, but they are nice music. So let's take a listen of these jazz musician. And second tips, it's difficult to do it, but if you have a chance, let's take a visit, visit boutique at Milan, Paris, Aoyama in Japan, and it's I did not mention about after married life of Tony Takitani. Tony Takitani's wife's one of the great hobby is visiting boutiques and bought clothes. So if you have some chance, it's now current situation, it's very difficult to travel around the world. But if you have a chance, opportunity, let's take a Milan, Paris, Aoyama, and let's take a visit. But beware to buying too much clothes. It could have make some tragedy. But anyway, so but still, this kind of fashion or clothing is very took an important role in this novel as well. And then that clothes scene also reminds the Great Gatsby. In the Great Gatsby, the heroine Daisy, when Daisy look at the Gatsby's so many splendid, gorgeous clothes, she had cried. Not the situation is totally same or very different, but in Tony Takitani's, one female character saw a large number of clothes. She had cried. Um, when someone, in particularly a woman, look at a large number of clothes and that made her cry, it's kind of same situation. So in a way, clothes is very important role in this short story, and also maybe the Great Gatsby. So clothes signal imply something. Clothes is something the metaphor. So let's think about it when you take a visit at boutiques, right? And third, so let's watch the film version. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about situation of the outside Japan, but maybe at least I can find in Amazon just some DVD version is available. But I'm not sure when some streaming service like say Netflix or Amazon Prime Video had a streaming version or outside Japan or not. To be unfortunately, even in Japan, Amazon Prime Video and also Netflix doesn't have a movie version. So it could be very difficult to watch it, but at least you can find it on YouTube trailer version. Only trailer you can tell how to say atmosphere of film. The film is really nice. So if you have an opportunity, let's watch the movie or film version. It's really nice. And then the music is featured. Sakamoto Ryuji's music. It's also nice. So let's watch the film version. It's really nice. So thank you for watching. Today I talk about Tony Takitani's one of my favorite of Murakami's short works. So if you have interested in, please take a look at it and read. And I would appreciate if you give me a feedback of your thoughts about this video itself, and also, of course, the your thoughts about this short story. Right. So thank you again. And if you have, I would appreciate it if you subscribe my channel. So let's see another video. Bye.